I recently made a video talking about how Ripple continuously is expanding, right? We constantly are starting to witness these big updates happening around, ROUSD expansion, Ripple custody expansion. And what's crazy about this is it feels as if it's happening almost every other week. And we just got another big move from Ripple. So let's go back real quick just to the beginning of the month, because this is just roughly like 2 weeks ago where we witnessed Ripple announce saving and sending money across Africa shouldn't be expensive or slow. Our USD-backed stablecoin ROUSD is changing that. Through partnerships with Chipper Cash app, Valor.com, and Yellow Card app, we are reducing cost, boosting speed, and delivering reliable access for individuals and businesses across the continent. Now, on top of this, we just got this announcement from the 9th. Again, less than a week ago. Next up, the Kingdom of Bahrain. We are expanding our presence in the Middle East through this partnership. Building on our Dubai regulatory license, this move reinforces our commitment to the MENA region. Together, we will accelerate crypto adoption, drive pilot projects, and launch accelerator and educational programs to introduce solutions like Ripple Custody and ROUSD to key financial institutions in the region. Now, again, we already have been witnessing ROUSD expansion happening. Monthly transfer volume up almost 100% at 86.34% in the last 30 days, 5.85 billion, mind you, and total value over $840 million, up 15.24% in the last 30 days. So we are starting to witness even more increased adoption happening around ROUSD. And even when we look at transfer volume, we can see that September was one of the biggest months for ROUSD monthly transfer volume. And we just got to the halfway mark for the month of October. And guess what? It looks as though if this keeps up, we're going to close the month at $6 billion in monthly transfer volume. That's well over the September high. And we are starting to see even bigger moves happening, and it's more consistent, like this one. So this is the big announcement. Today, we are excited to announce that Absa South Africa, one of Africa's leading financial institutions, is now Ripple's first major custody partner in Africa. We are bringing institutional digital asset custody to South Africa, providing the secure and compliant infrastructure needed to meet rising institutional demand. This is a huge move. This is building right off the back of that announcement from the first regarding ROUSD expanding in Africa. Now, we have a few quotes from Reese Merrick, which is, Ripple Custody has arrived in Africa. Having spent time in South Africa earlier in my career, it holds a special place in my heart. So I'm delighted we are bringing institutional-grade digital asset custody to one of the nation's leading banks. This news highlights the serious intent of heavyweight African financial institutions to enter the digital asset space. We are proud to act as their trusted partner. Now, on top of this, Monica Long. Last month, we announced ROUSD live on the African continent, and today, so is Ripple Custody through our partnership with Absa Bank, one of South Africa's leading financial institutions. Now, we're going to go in depth on Absa Bank because they definitely are a big player, but I want to also go over how this is going to affect both Ripple and even XRP. So let's start off with the announcement itself. So Ripple expands global custody footprint into Africa through new collaboration with Absa Bank. Ripple brings institutional digital asset custody to South Africa in partnership with one of Africa's leading financial institutions. Ripple, the leading provider of digital asset infrastructure for financial institutions, today announced a strategic partnership with Absa Bank to provide digital asset custody to the bank's customers in South Africa. Through the partnership, Absa will leverage Ripple's institutional-grade and digital asset custody technology to deliver scalable and secure storage for tokenized assets, including cryptocurrencies. Absa, one of Africa's leading financial institutions, becomes Ripple's first major custody partner in Africa. This partnership is a result of the growing demand for secure, compliant digital asset infrastructure across emerging markets. Ripple's expanding global custody network now includes clients across Europe, the Middle East, Asia Pacific, Latin America, and Africa, supporting financial institutions as they embrace the opportunities presented by digital asset technology. And yeah, what's crazy about this is, Ripple has been expanding so much. I mean, in just the last like 2 or 3 months, like if we're going over here real quick, okay, this is the announcement from 10 hours ago. Let's just look back real quick at a few things. Number one, we know that Ripple just had a massive meeting in Luxembourg around Europe as well. This is with the EU and Luxembourg adoption and also expansion happening. Also, the Kingdom of Bahrain. We also have, beyond that, down here, the Africa announcement from October 1st. We also just got a big integration with Securitize. That's also another big one. This is the UK announcement with Casey Craddock going to the UK to really kind of speak about, this big collaboration between the UK and the US regarding stablecoin initiatives. Again, this is that partnership with Securitize. But then if we scroll down a little bit more, here we have BDAX with South Korea. We just talked about this recently as well. Outside of that, we got another big announcement just recently back in the beginning of September, I believe. I believe it's down here, yeah, with BBVA. This is in Spain. Also, on top of that, before that one, we have the actual announcement from the Africa one. But we also have Thunes. This is another big expansion for cross-border payments with Ripple. Beyond that, we also got another big expansion in Japan as well, and I believe that that's a little bit later. Yeah, this is back in August. This was SBI in Japan. These announcements are happening so often. Ripple's expanding globally, and this is also expanding both custody and also ROUSD adoption in these key areas. Now, we also have Africa is experiencing a major shift in how value is stored and exchanged, and our partnership with ABSA underscores Ripple's commitment to unlocking the potential of digital assets on the continent. As one of the most respected and innovative banks in Africa, ABSA has a strong track record of innovation and leadership, and we are proud to support its digital asset ambitions with the most secure and compliant custody infrastructure on the market. As regulatory clarity around alternative investments increases across Africa, institutional interest in blockchain-based solutions is rising. Ripple's infrastructure enables financial institutions like ABSA to confidently explore new digital assets offerings while meeting strict security, operational, and regulatory requirements. As we continue to innovate and respond to the evolving financial ecosystem, we recognize the importance of providing our customers with secure, compliant, and robust custody solutions for their digital assets. This is from the head of digital product custody at ABSA Corporate and Investment Banking. Ripple's custody solution allows us to leverage proven and trusted technology that meets the highest security and operational standards. Together, we can deliver the next generation of financial infrastructure to our customers. The next generation of financial infrastructure. This is coming from a big bank in Africa. And they also said that Ripple, specifically their custody platform, is trusted. This is trusted. It's meeting the highest grade security. It's meeting the highest operational standards. This is such a huge, confirmation of just how significant Ripple custody is in the institutional side of the market. Like, again, this is why I constantly put a spotlight on what Ripple is doing with every single product that they launch. Even ROUSD, right? This is the most compliant and regulated stablecoin out there in this market, fully transparent. Everything that Ripple is doing is on a completely different level. And this is why. They are going after massive institutional players like ABSA. Now, we also have the new partnership between Ripple and ABSA extends Ripple's existing operations on the continent. Earlier this year, they announced it's supporting Africa-based payments provider Chipper Cash with its crypto-enabled payments technology, as well as the arrival of USD-backed stablecoin ROUSD in Africa. Ripple is seeing increasing demand for its payment solution across Africa from both crypto-native firms and traditional financial institutions. According to Ripple's 2025 New Value Report, 64% of Middle East and Africa, this is MIA, by the way, finance leaders see faster payments and settlement times as the biggest impetus for incorporating blockchain-based currencies into their cross-border payments flows. Thanks to its simple, secure, compliant digital asset infrastructure, Ripple is well positioned to provide the core services that institutional players need to store, exchange, and move digital assets. Ripple has over a decade of experience in the digital asset space and holds 60 plus regulatory licenses and registrations in various jurisdictions. Again, everything that Ripple is doing, their experience in this space, all of these major moves, it goes without saying that Ripple is operating on a completely different field. I keep stressing this. Everyone is constantly talking about how RLUSD is so far behind Tether and Circle. Guys, RLUSD just launched not even a full year ago, and it has done tremendously well. This is just the beginning for what Ripple is going to accomplish. Now, to build on top of this announcement, I want to go over a few things with Absa Bank. Number one, let's talk about who Absa Bank is. So they are a leading Pan-African bank, inspired by the people we serve and determined to be a globally respected organization of which Africa can be proud. As a financial institution, we empower and enable, from investing in our employees to uplifting our communities and enabling our clients' ambitions. Our heartbeat is Africa, and we are committed to a Pan-African presence and contribution. Now, they do have offices around the world. They are, a bit of a bigger player even outside of Africa. However, the main thing that we are looking at here is the facts, okay? This is one of Africa's leading banks. A bank, mind you, a massive bank. I bring this up because what we have been hearing throughout, 2025 is that no banks are going to be adopting XRP. No banks are going to tap into XRP or Ripple. And you might say, all right, well, yeah, this is Ripple custody, so they don't care about XRP. They're only going to tap into Ripple custody. I've said this many times over throughout the, last couple months. When we think about, custody, where things are starting to really kind of move, throughout, I would say, finance as a whole, custody is the core piece that it starts upon, right? Everything that we are looking at here, like custody is the main starting point. After custody is figured out, we can start to enable new use cases across tokenization, digital asset management, stablecoin issuance, and beyond. The first thing here that we see, tokenization, boom, the XRP ledger. All right, stablecoin issuance. Okay, well, we already know that RLUSD is tapped in on the XRP ledger. Almost every piece of this includes the XRP ledger. Institutional DeFi. Ripple is fully embracing institutional DeFi in a big way. I'm not too sure if they have it on here, but we've been talking about institutional DeFi. They have an institutional DeFi portal on Ripple's website. That's all based around the XRP ledger. So when we think about these announcements with these big banks, like every single thing that we see from Ripple all ties back to XRP. Now, when we think about Absa Bank as well, what kind of revenue are we looking at? What kind of value are we looking at here as well? Well, right off the rip, we have total assets 2+ trillion South African rand. This is essentially like $120 billion. It's like 119 billion or so. So again, when we think about the total assets, it's not like a massive amount. However, the biggest thing that we are looking at with, Absa is just how big of a bank they really are. This is a bank that is a part of a huge group with a few other players, but it's also one of the largest banks in these areas like Africa, which also shows us the presence in which Ripple has in these areas as well. I'm very excited about this because it also ties back to the fact that Absa is a part of some core organizations, like, for example, the G20 and even the B20. So here we have Absa's central role in both the G20 and the B20. Absa has partnered with the B20 South Africa as a diamond sponsor and a gold sponsor for G20, playing an active role in shaping economic policy and amplifying Africa's voice on the global stage. Now, you might not think too much about this because, all right, well, who cares about this? It doesn't really have anything to do with Ripple, right? Well, the fact that, Absa is working very closely with the G20 task forces and working groups, what they're mainly focused on is core pieces, making sure that the strategic priorities of the G20 are met. When we think about this, the fact that Absa is now tapping in with Ripple, it takes me back to that announcement going all the way back to 2023. This was when Ripple joined forces with the BIS in that cross-border payments initiative, the CPMI group. Okay, a lot of people don't know, but the CPMI group was created to hit the targets and the goals established by the G20 around cross-border payments. The Financial Stability Board, which, by the way, Ripple also commented on their global crypto frameworks, is another organization that is dedicated to the global financial presented, or it's also another organization dedicated to the G20 and also, tapped in on these priority actions to achieve these G20 targets. This Financial Stability Board is the same organization that allowed Ripple to comment on that framework while in the middle of a lawsuit back in 2022. But all of these players are looking at the G20. They're trying to, achieve those goals set out by the G20 around cross-border payments. So when we think about, these announcements with ABSA and Ripple working closely together, it takes me back to the idea of like all of these networking moves that Ripple has made over the years, all of the connections that Ripple has made as well. And it just proves that Ripple is completely on a different level, number one, but also they're working with some of the biggest names that are responsible for changing our entire financial system. Like the BIS is the central bank of central banks. So all of these moves that we're seeing now, they're heating up. They're becoming much bigger, I would argue, and they're also happening a lot faster. This is also proving how significant the sea change around crypto has been in 2025 as well. And ever since that lawsuit ended, it kind of feels as if Ripple is moving much faster than we ever, seen in the past. So I'm very excited about this. I'm also very excited about it with XRP because again, almost every single one of these major initiatives ties back to XRP in some way, shape, or form. I'm very excited about the future. Institutional adoption is happening. They're tapping with Ripple. This is a very, very big move. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video.